Hello, I'm William Michael. I'm the founder and the headmaster of the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. And I'd like to welcome you to the Academy and provide you with a little bit of encouragement as you look around and start to learn about real classical Catholic education. I'm pretty certain that you grew up with a modern education and had that experience in a modern school that left you with a bad taste in your mouth as far as education was concerned. You've probably had that experience where you felt like a course or a number of courses you were taking didn't make any sense. You really didn't know what the purpose of your studies was. You didn't think that the teacher knew what he or she was talking about, or that the professor was just talking in circles. And you were made to think that, no, you're just wrong. You just don't understand what's going on. You're just dumb. Maybe you even have a learning disability. Maybe there's something wrong with you because the system is right. And therefore, if anything seems wrong, it must be you. You've probably had that experience because it's what modern education does to us. It makes us feel like something must be wrong with us because it doesn't seem like this is true. It doesn't seem like this modern education is working. It doesn't seem like these modern lessons make any sense. It doesn't seem like these modern courses or diploma programs do us any good. But maybe it's just because we're dumb, right? You've probably had that experience. And one of the dangers after going through modern education is that many adults come out of modern education and they think that the problem is in them. They think that they must just not be smart. They must just not be good writers. They must not be good at math, and so on. And they go into adult life with this negative effect of modern education that just makes them think they're not smart or that they're not cut out for any kind of studies or intellectual pursuits. And they base that judgment on their experience of modern education. And it's actually false. What happens for many families is having had that experience in modern education, they say, you know what? My education was terrible. So either I'm not fit to educate my own children or to direct my children's education, or I'm going to do something radical and take my kids in the opposite direction. And in either situation, they make bad decisions. Parents who assume that they're not fit to educate their children may just choose to send their kids to school and assume that that experience is normal and necessary when it's not. Some parents, being really unhappy with modern education, choose to rebel against it and just go in the opposite direction and pursue what's called unschooling, which is equally foolish. The truth is there's another option which very few modern adults know about, and it's the classical education that was enjoyed by wise men and saints all through history. That education is available in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. In fact, what we're working to do in the Academy is research and learn about the education that was enjoyed by wise men and saints, and the education that was actually taught by wise men and saints. We study to learn as much about it as we can. We work to restore that system of education, to publish it and make it affordable and accessible to Catholics in modern society, and then to teach that and help students succeed in learning it. The danger is that many parents who've had a bad experience in modern education think that pursuing something better would be even more difficult than the modern education, and that's simply not true. What I'd like you to understand is if you have a devout Catholic faith, if you are seeking to live a devout Catholic life, if you love the Catholic Church, if you love the Catholic saints, if you love Catholic tradition and Catholic culture, you know that that culture, that faith, that life has no place in modern education. They're two different worlds. But if you have those things, which are the most valuable things, if you come with those things, if you come with Catholic faith, if you come with a love of Catholic culture, a love of the saints, and so on, you come with those things and learn about classical education, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to be comfortable with it. You're going to feel at home, and you're going to be able to succeed in pursuing it yourself or helping your children to pursue it. And so I want to encourage parents not to allow bad experiences in modern education to cause them to think that they're just dumb and shouldn't even bother with education, or that they should go in the opposite direction with this wacky unschooling movement. But rather that you should realize that your Catholic faith, your Catholic life, your love of the Catholic Church should head in a different direction and take you into classical Catholic education, where you will actually feel like things make sense, like there's not something wrong with you, like you're not stupid. And that is the education of the wise men and saints. In the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, like I said, it's that education that we work to make available to Catholic families living in the 21st century. And most Catholic families, most Catholic adults know absolutely nothing about it, because it's not in the modern public schools, it's not in the modern private schools, it's not in the modern Catholic schools. It's only available in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. And I challenge you to go ahead and test and see whether that's true or false, because it's the truth. That education that was enjoyed by wise men and saints through history is available only here in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. Now, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. But what's exciting about it is that I know that as a Catholic, you can feel, you can sense in your soul that when you think about modern education, something is wrong. There's just something about it that doesn't agree with your Catholic life. And that sense is a good thing. But normally, like I said, parents don't know what an alternative is, and so they seek a false alternative. You will find that that sense that you have, that something is not right in modern education, is true and is a good guide, but it doesn't give you a positive plan. That positive plan for what to actually do is in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. What you're looking for is an education, is a system of education that enriches your Catholic life, that actually harmonizes with your Catholic life, that gives you a fuller Catholic life. And we have that feeling when we look at modern education that we have to sort of leave our Catholic faith at the front door and go pursue education. And then when education is over, we can come out and pick our faith back up and act like Catholics. Where in classical Catholic studies, that split personality doesn't need to exist. In fact, we need to bring our Catholic faith into real classical Catholic studies, because they are a source of the wisdom that we seek through these real studies. When we look back at the lives of the saints, we look back at St. Augustine, St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Albert the Great, St. Ignatius of Loyola, St. Dominic, on and on. We find Catholics immersed in classical studies. That system of education was the education of the saints. It was the education that they received. It was the education that they gave their students. And that education is available to us today in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. So I invite you to learn about real classical Catholic education, and I encourage you to not allow your bad experience in modern education to have any negative effect on your pursuit of this education, because you're going to find that the things you struggled with in modern schooling. The problems were actually in the modern schooling and not necessarily in you. The way you were taught, the people who taught you, the courses you studied in, the programs you studied in, they were not effective for learning. They were not effective in teaching. They didn't effectively provide you with what you need to learn in order to gain those skills, or even to have a sense of how to live your life and make good decisions. It was an educational system that was flawed, and you felt that the flaw must be in you, but it wasn't. I encourage you to pursue classical studies because you're going to find that the problem was not in you. It was in that modern system of education. And when you pursue real classical Catholic studies, you're going to find that everything makes sense. You're going to find that your life is enriched. You're going to find that all of the studies are immediately helpful and beneficial in your Catholic life. And you're going to feel your Catholic life enriched and filled out with much more culture and knowledge and understanding than you probably ever thought was possible. And this is the education that was enjoyed by wise men and saints. So if you're new to the Academy and just looking around, I encourage you to put all of that past experience in modern education behind you and just forget about it. Don't bring any of that with you into the consideration of the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. Don't bring all the grade levels. Don't bring standardized testing. Don't bring diplomas and certificates and accreditation and all of that artificial nonsense. Leave that all with modern education. Bring your Catholic faith. Bring your love of the Catholic Church. Bring your love of the Catholic saints into the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. And with that mindset, learn about the classical Catholic education and evaluate it in light of your Catholic faith and life. And you'll see that what you thought was wrong about modern education was in fact wrong, and the answer can be found in classical Catholic education. So I hope that's helpful. I invite you to look around and get started anytime. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with us because we're happy to help. God bless your studies.